Hello, everybody. So this week we are talking about the fact that life is predictable. That's an unbelievable truth to realize. It's one of the greatest truths that I ever discovered in my life. That life could be predictable. So many people think that life is a game or a gamble, and that life is a chance, and life is something that God decides, or Satan decides, or destiny decides. But in the real sense, life is actually predictable. God has made life in such a way that it could be predictable. God has put laws in places, and life is based on laws and principles. And when people live according to those laws and principles, their lives can be predictable. If you look at the way somebody is living their lives, you could tell if they are going to be successful or not, or if they are going to become failures in life, just by looking at the principles that they live by, or they refuse to live by. For example, if I hear so many times when people talk about Christians and say, why do Christians get sick? Because even though the Bible promises that we will not be sick, and we are not supposed to die of sickness and disease, and why do Christians die young, and why are they sick? And there are laws for that. There are laws that are responsible for long life and for health. So if we break the laws of body, of health, it's very difficult to live a healthy life, or to live long, even though you are a Christian. So if we as Christians we just eat anything that we find, if we just do anything we want, if we just if we not do sports, we not live an active lifestyle, we don't eat well, we don't we just eat hazardous foods, and we don't take care of ourselves, we don't breathe fresh air. There is no guarantee that a person like that will live for long, or that he will be healthy. The only thing that makes you to live for long and be healthy is when you abide by the laws of health. So, even though we're Christians, but if you see another person who is not a Christian but abides by these laws, he will live longer than the Christian, even though he's an unbeliever. So he might go to hell, but he will live long on the earth because he follows the laws that are down by God. So life is predictable because life is built and based on laws and principles. We will continue tomorrow. God bless. Hello, everybody. We continue to talk about the fact that life is predictable. And the reason life is predictable, like we said yesterday, is because life is based on laws and principles. And the people who live by certain principles have certain results. And the people that live by certain laws, they also come they get the same result that other people got. So if you see anybody that has ever done something, you will see that thing could be repeated and be done by any other person, just because if the person that wants to become as successful or have the same result as the person who has done it before follows the pathway or that the person took, and if the person will use the same laws and the same principles as the other person did, life is predictable that it will possibly have the same result at the same amount of time that it took the other man to get the result he had. So life is predictable in the sense that laws don't fail you. Laws and principles don't disappoint you. Laws are constant, principles are constant, and they will always work for you if you abide by them. This is how God created the earth. This is how God created the world. And people who live by laws and principles, they get a predictable result like any other people that has ever gotten that result. So in your life and in my life, we could actually examine the principles that led to what we have today, and who we are today, just by examining the laws and the principles that we abide by. And you will be able to explain why you are where you are. Actually, if you want to change your life, the only thing you need to do is to change the laws and the principles that you live by. You need to find out what are the permanent, constant virtues of manners or patterns in your life. And when you discover these patterns, you will if you decide to change them, then definitely your life will change. But then you must know what you want to change them to. So it's better to find somebody whose life inspires you, that then you go and emulate the lifestyle and the principles that other person used. And if you be able to repeat those same principles that the other person used, you will definitely come to the same result that person you admire has in his life. So life is predictable. God bless. Hello, everybody. Good day, and we continue our message this week that life is predictable, actually. And the reason life is predictable is because life is built on fixed laws and principles, and anybody that abides by these principles of success is going to be successful. But anybody that violates the principles of success is going to fail in life. And when I was a student, I studied philosophy, and one of the things we study in philosophy are the laws of life, the laws that govern life. And one of the laws that I remember that is very close to the subtopic that we're talking about today is the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect. So that law says if you have any result, if you have any visible result today, is a result, is only a result. Any manifestation you see, any effect you see, is only as a result of something. So nothing can happen without nothing. Nothing can happen from nowhere. Anything that happens, good or bad, is as a result of something. So that is the law of cause and effect. Whatever you have today is a result of what you did yesterday or you refused to do yesterday. So if you are going to examine your life, or I'm going to examine my life, whatever we have today is as a result of this law of cause and effect. Whatever we have today is a result of what we did yesterday right or did wrong, or what we refused to do. That is what explains, or that's why we have the kind of life that we have. Like, for example, you have a glass of tea here. I am doing this recording, and somebody made this tea and brought it to me, and that's why I have the glass of tea here. But in the real sense, somebody did this. Somebody prepared this tea. Somebody went to make the tea and brought it here. If they had not made the tea, it will not just appear here. It cannot appear by itself. The same thing happens to us. If you really want anything to change in your life, if you really want to have any life, you must do something that will lead to that result that you desire in your life. That law is very close to another law in the Bible, which is the same law but said differently. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. So if you don't sow, that law says if you don't sow something, you don't have the right to reap it. So only when you sow something, then you have the right to hope to reap it. You cannot sow groundnuts and hope to reap apples or potatoes. So you only reap what you sow. So that's what life is about. If you want a given result, you must find out the laws that are responsible for those results and abide intentionally by those laws. Then you have the result that you desire to have. We'll continue tomorrow. God bless. Hello, everybody. I want to talk to us today I want to confirm the fact that life is predictable. And life is predictable. Yesterday I spoke on the basis of philosophy. And today I want to confirm the fact that life is predictable on the basis of science, on the basis of physics. And we all know of Isaac Newton, who is a great physician and mathematician. But he was also a great believer in the Lord. He knew by the Bible, he studied the Word of God. And one of his discoveries was that action produces reaction. And that means that, an action will always produce a reaction. That is, every action has an equal or opposite reaction. That is, action produces something. If you want something to change, you must act. If you don't act, nothing changes. So if you want something to change, you must act upon it. If you want something to change, you must do something for you to get results. Results don't just come. Changes don't just come in life. They come as a result of somebody's force, somebody's action. So if we are hoping that things will change in our nations or in our finances or in our family without really taking action, it is deception. So actions produces reaction. We only have changes, we only have progress, we only have advancement in life when we do something towards that. So if you want things to change in your life, you must begin to act today. When you act today and begin to do something in line of the change that you desire, then you could hope to have the result that you thought that you are dreaming of having. So only actions produces reactions. Only actions produces either actions of equal proportion of opposite proportion. So whatever you do have results. That is to say, it's confirmation to what the Bible says, that there is profit in every labor. So every labor has their own profit. Even if you think that it doesn't give you anything or you are not paid for it, but anything you do produces something. The fact that you are doing something, the fact that you are acting, you have some result, even profit. You might not see it in terms of money or something like that, but every action produces reaction, which means life is predictable. If you are going to do something, do some certain actions, you will get some certain results. But if you refuse to take some actions, you will not have some result as well in your life. So life is predictable. Your actions will always produce a corresponding reaction. God bless. Hello everybody, we continue to talk today about the fact that life actually is predictable. Life is predictable because life is based on laws. And one of the laws that will help us to learn this lesson, that life is predictable, is the first law of Newton. Isaac Newton was a big philosopher and a mathematician and a physicist and actually a believer too. And he invented these laws. And the first law of his motion states that an object continues in a state of rest or in uniform motion in a straight line until a force is applied to it. What that means is that nothing changes in life until there is a force that is applied. Nothing will change in your life just by wishful thinking. Nothing will change in your life just because you desire it to change. They are only when you apply forces, only when you do something about your situation that then things will change. Some of us are waiting for somebody to come and help us, or some people or situation to change by itself. Nothing like that will happen if you don't apply the force, or if you don't do something concretely to help yourself. What the first law of motion is talking about is that an object, let's take this cup for example, will remain in a state of rest. It will remain in a static situation. The way it is right now, it will remain here for the next 10 years if nobody will come and remove it, or if nobody will come, if the air would not breathe, if the force from outside would not breathe on it and move it away, or if the table will not collapse. So it remains in a state of rest or in a uniform motion, in the same motion the way it was or in a straight line until a force is applied. Only force changes the position of things. Only force that is applied makes things to change in life. For things to change in our lives, for things to change in our situation, for things to change in our destiny, we must apply some force. If you are poor, you must do something about your situation for it to change. If you are unmarried or you have family problems, you must do something about the situation for it to change. If you want things to change for the better for your children, for your family, you must apply some force. Only the things that you apply force to change, then only those things changes. But if you don't want to work more, if you don't want to struggle more, if you don't want to apply more force, things will remain the same for you, even though you are a good person. So only people who work harder, only people who try harder have the better result in life. Life is predictable. Do more and get more. God bless. Hello everybody, we continue to talk about the fact that life is predictable today. And it's true, life is actually predictable for those people who know the secret of life. And the secret of life is that life is based on laws and life is based on principles. So if we live by these laws and we abide by principles, things change and things get better in our lives. One of the laws that life is based on is the fact that if you keep on doing the same thing that you had ever done, that you had always done, if you keep on doing the same thing all over again, you know nothing will change in your life. You keep on having the same results. And but if you want to have a new result, you must find out what are the principles you lived by before, and then you must change those principles to the better ones you want to have. For example, if you are somebody that always gave up when something doesn't work out for you, and you did something the first time it doesn't work out, you just move on and do another thing, and you are that kind of person that you always start a new thing, because when things don't work out for you, you think that's a sign that you shouldn't do it again. Well, you never have great success in life, because one of the laws of life is that life demands perseverance and endurance. But if a person like that reads the book of Samuel Edison, and you see that he tried to about 1,000 times for him to invent the lamp, and you decided to change your principle, and instead of giving up after the first attempt, you now decided to do it until you get an answer, or until you get a result. So if you do that, then you will discover that you will begin to have different results. You will begin to have the results where you used to quit before and where you used to fail before. But if you don't change the laws, if you don't change your principle that you live by, if you keep on living by the fact that you keep on quitting because something doesn't work out for you, well, you will never have great results like Edison had. So life is predictable. It depends on the fact that either you obey the laws of life, or you violate the laws of life, and that is what it depends on. If you obey the laws, of life, and you see that the results you're having now, you don't like them, make analysis of your life, check out the laws and the patterns you've been observing, and look for other patterns and laws that has brought success to the lives of other people, and begin to live by those other principles. Then you'll begin to have the result that they had as well. God bless. Hello everybody, we are continuing to talk about the fact that life is predictable, and we're finishing, unfortunately, this talk today. But I hope that you go through all the messages of this week and discover for yourself that actually everything is possible. Life is predictable because life is governed by laws. And that means to us as an individual that we can achieve any height that we wish to achieve in life. We can get any result that we wish to get in life if we just learn the laws that are responsible for whatever result that we want to. And not just knowing the laws, but apply the discipline that we want to and we wish to. Apply the principle and the discipline to apply the principles and to live by the laws that will give us the result that we desire. So if anybody was successful, or if anybody ever got some results, all of us, anybody can actually repeat those results or close to that result if they will only be disciplined enough to find out the laws or the principles that these people live by, or the patterns and the habits that help them to get the result that they got. And if we will not just know the patterns and the principles by head, but if we will be disciplined enough to apply ourselves and to discipline ourselves and to do exactly the way those people have acted, then we'll be able to have the same results as those people had. So life is predictable if I will be disciplined enough to do exactly what the person did that brought him the same success that he has. I could have the same success. So there is a law that says that there is no failure in life. Actually, there is no failure in life. There are only people that maybe don't know the laws of success. They don't know the laws, or they don't know the things that great people and successful people know. Or maybe they know, but they are not willing to pay the price that successful people paid to get to where they are. Well, that might be one of your problems. Maybe you are not disciplined enough to search out the knowledge that the successful people have. Or maybe you know some of the principles, but you are not disciplined enough to put yourself into the rigor, pay the same price they paid, and then be able to have the same result that they have. If we do that, we'll discover that life is predictable. If anybody ever made it, every one of us can make it. And I hope that this message this week will help you to be all God wants you to be. God bless.